what we're talking about this line, and I'm not going to ever ask you an impossible question like what specific facets of publishing are about to be changed by COVID-19? What in the next 6 months will happen with publishing, with the stock market? Who will be president in 2020? None of those impossible to answer questions, but knowing that there are lots of authors that are filled with anxiety because so many events have been canceled, venues have been shut down, and hopefully just temporary. What things are you advocating for your clients to do to continue to grow their author brand and continue to move books?
I think right now in a pandemic, it's just such an unprecedented time. The first thing I say is, do what you need to do just to preserve your mental health, to preserve yourself. Like, there's nothing you have to do. You just have to survive it. Like, that's step one. And that, it's not that easy. It's a really, really soul crushing time for a lot of people. Beyond that, I would say, see where their opportunities are to lift up other writers, work together. Like I said, L'Oreal, she has a virtual launch with another author. And what I've really seen online is just the community coming together, which has been really, really great. Of people, promoting other people's books that are coming out, people setting up virtual launch events, giving buzz. And I think that's so important. But for writers who are like, what am I going to do? Is publishing going to exist? What I would say is, of course, publishing will exist. Publishing will always exist. I know there's been so many times. I remember someone telling me that when TV was first invented, they were like, this is the end of the book. Who would want a book when you can watch TV? And, it's not the case. It's just such a special thing to hold a book and the escapism that it provides. And I think now more than ever, people are going to be looking for that escape. So I would say for writers, maybe not published authors, but writers who are maybe like feeling bad that they're not using this time to write is to just don't feel bad. I saw this tweet that I really love. It said it's a pandemic, not a productivity contest. And I think that's a really good mentality to have right now, is to figure out what works for you right now and just be fine with that being enough. I think burnout is real in this career. So whatever you can do to preserve that and make sure you don't you're doing great.
I won't pretend that I'm not doing any writing because I am, but I am below my usual standard of productivity. And I'm just bearing in mind that, of concerns that I have for myself, my family, everything that's going on in the world. My next book, still a concern, a little shifted downward in the priorities, and I'm okay with that.
And I mean, some people are thriving, and that's great. I mean, it's an interesting time, but I think also I always tell writers, there's so much to writing that can help craft a story beyond just getting words on a page. You could be reading some of your favorite comfort reads and kind of thinking back in your head, like, why does this work so well? Like, what is giving it the staying power? What is, I've read it 5 times and I'm still finding myself turning the pages, and you can kind of feel the beats a bit more. Or, maybe you're trying to fall asleep and you're using, a plot and structure book, a nonfiction book to help you do that. You're kind of internalizing some of the lessons there. So I think there's a lot to writing you can be doing that's productive, that maybe, it's great if you're getting stuff on the page, but there's also stuff you could just be doing that you can just check as little wins, and that's great too.